In this video, I'm going to show you my $1 million YouTube framework that I've been using to help me and my clients grow our brand and our businesses. And I've done this for multiple business owners on social media, and I took that framework and I tweaked it to YouTube and it worked flawlessly. It helped Nero gain 300,000 subscribers in just 8 months and also 5x his business revenue. And then I took the exact same framework and used it on Gavin, who was stuck at around 300, 500 views per video for years until he worked with me, implemented the framework, and he was able to gain 70,000 views on one video, and that allowed him to 3 to 4x his business revenue in just 4 weeks. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how it's done in a 3-step process and exactly how I actually helped my clients like Nero, Gavin, etc. do this exact same thing and exactly how I helped them implement it. But first, you actually need to understand how we kind of got to this point. So most business owners start on Instagram or TikTok, typically Instagram. I did, I know Nero did, probably a few of you are as well. You start on Instagram, you start launching your services, you're doing reels, you're doing story sequences, and it's going well until you realize your warm audience has literally been ran through and you have no one else that wants to buy your products, because short form platforms take a long time to nurture your audience, which means not enough people trust you enough to buy from you, and your lead generation pipeline has basically dried down. But then you start doing the obvious thing that most business owners do, that I did as well. You start running ads, and when you start running ads, you think it's going well, you sign 1 or 2 clients, but then you encounter more problems than you had before, where the people jumping on your calls, 1, they don't show up to the calls, or 2, they have a lot more resistance because they don't trust you or know you, they literally just discovered you. Or number 3, potentially worse, and it's not happened to me, but you could have people that make emotional decisions and then have buyer's remorse, and then they decide to refund. And typically as time goes on, you end up spending more on ads or have to change your ads, and then you end up in an endless cycle of giving Meta more money just to make some more money. And that's when I realized there had to be a better way, and I realized it was YouTube. I noticed all the smart business owners were making a massive shift from short form platforms onto YouTube. And at first I wondered why, but then I realized YouTube is actually just a better platform for longevity and long-term growth for your brand and your business. For example, there's something called the 7-11-4 rule, where people need 7 hours of content in order to trust you. On short form videos, that's going to be around 420 short form videos that are 60 seconds long for someone to trust you. And that's when you realize trust is a hard thing to build on short form platforms, whereas on YouTube, it could be 7 1-hour videos, 14 30-minute videos, 21 15-minute videos, and you realize you can get there in a shorter amount of videos, shorter amount of time by just posting YouTube videos. Plus, YouTube as a platform just has so many other benefits, like they will pay you to post content on their platform once you hit their requirements. YouTube will push your video out there and literally search for clients for you. And of course, YouTube will build trust faster. And number 4, which is most important, which a lot of people tend to neglect, is that YouTube just give your videos a longer shelf life, which means you're not just creating fast food anymore, you're actually creating digital assets that will market and sell for you 24/7 around the clock for years on end. YouTube will literally recommend you a video that is 2, 3, 5 years old, and you've probably seen it on your own homepage. It will recommend you these videos if they think that it's what you need and what you want to watch. The only issue is when people switch from short form to long form, there's an extra few steps that they've never had to do before, so it's a whole new world, and they encounter challenges. You either go through the challenges by yourself and you struggle for years to make ends meet, and then you finally crack the code, or you actually just find someone that can help you speed up that process. And in this video, I'm going to help you speed up that process. But if you are also a business owner that wants to grow their brand, grow their business using YouTube, there's going to be a link in the description to work with me one-to-one. But in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I help my clients, so you'll have a better idea of what it's like to work together by finishing this video anyway. And if you're not in the position to work with me, you can actually take this information and implement it, and I'm pretty sure you'll see some results. So the $1 million YouTube framework is actually simpler than it seems. It's a 3-step system, and the first part of that system is attracting the right viewer. Now, the right viewer in business terms is going to be your ICP, your ideal client profile, or someone that is going to buy from your business. So the most simple and effective way to attracting your ideal client or your ideal viewer is by creating valuable content that they want to see and making it actually actionable, that they can actually use that information. So the way I actually do this, I break each component down of what it actually means to get a viewer. So there's actually about 5-6 steps to this. The first one is the most important one, so this is going to go in order of importance. The first thing is your idea. A lot of people think when you're on YouTube, the most important thing to attracting someone or making someone click the video and watch your video is packaging, but it's actually your idea. If you get your idea right and you nail it, everything else just falls into place easier and, dare I say, more naturally. The only issue with ideas is that ideas are a never-ending cycle, so things that worked 5 years ago probably don't work today. So it's super important that you keep your ideas fresh, whether that's you coming up with more ideas or someone externally coming in and revamping or repackaging stuff that you've already done or ideas that you've got down on paper, or I guess in this day and age, Notion. Now the second part is actually packaging, and this is actually broken down into 3 different components. That is title, thumbnail, and your introduction. These 3 make up your packaging, and it's super important that you actually nail your packaging as well, especially if you're trying to attract more people and more of the right people. You want to nail your packaging. So your title needs to be optimized. There's a few rules that you can go for this, but the most important one that I try and stick to the most is character length being an average of 55. So the best performing titles on YouTube have an average character length of 55, and that's because if your title's too short, you're probably missing necessary context, or if it's too long, one, it's just too flipping long, and number 2, it's not going to be shown on certain devices, whether that's on your laptop or whether that's on your mobile or your iPad. And plus, your YouTube videos are going to pop up in different situations. For example, it could come on the YouTube home screen, it could come on the recommended, it could come on the up next. And if people can't read the full thing, they don't know what your video is about, so they're going to skip and just look for another video. The second thing that you need to make sure you optimize is your thumbnail. There's a bunch of rules for thumbnails, but honestly, you can break a bunch of them and still get away. But the one that I always find is consistent is that your thumbnail is obviously scroll stopping, but the best way to make it scroll stopping is to make it clear, simple, bright, contrasty, add a lot of color. And if that's by increasing the saturation or vibrance, do that. Also, it's super important that you come up with multiple variations of your title and multiple variations of a thumbnail for each single video. I like to see it nowadays as like a puzzle. You know when you're putting a puzzle together and you think a piece fits there, but you're not quite sure, but then you find a better piece that fits perfectly, and you know, as you're creating the puzzle, it's creating an image. See your title and thumbnail like puzzle pieces. And if you have 3 variations of your title and 3 variations of your thumbnail, you can piece together each one and see which one fits the best. And then you can test it by uploading the video, seeing how it performs. If you think it's underperforming, you can change out one of the variants, whether that's the title or the thumbnail. Then you can see if the performance increases. If it does, you can change the other variant to see if there's a better fitting title, for example, or a better fitting thumbnail. And then from there, you can settle on whichever variant combination works the best, and then you can move on to your next video. And the last piece of packaging is your introduction. It's really important that you just follow a simple framework that I make all my clients follow, and pretty much everyone on YouTube literally follows it to this day. It's literally a staple, and when I see someone that doesn't do this, it typically doesn't work well for them. So what you essentially need to do is confirm the click. Whatever your title and thumbnail is, make sure you confirm that in the first 5-7 seconds of the video starting. People that do not know you or trust you want to make sure that they're in the right place. So you let them know that they're in the right place. But then more importantly, once they're in the right place, you need to show them that you're the right person for them to listen to when you're going to give them advice that you're probably going to give in the video. And you can see I actually use this at the start of this video. The third thing that you need to do inside of your intro is basically show them that there's a roadmap of what's to come. So whether you're telling them that's a 3-step process that you're going to break down, or whether it's a 4-step process or 5 things that you're going to talk about to why this is bad or why this is good, let them know. It's going to allow them to categorize and systemize everything in their brain, which allows them to follow the information a lot clearer. Now, the 4th thing that you need to be doing to optimize for the right viewer is having your right video content or your video structure. Now, past your introduction, I like to just say this. Most YouTube videos are literally a title, thumbnail, an introduction, and then a bullet point of things or a list of things. And that's literally how it goes. You're probably going to be talking about 3 things that you're going to expand on, and you basically just talk about each one and expand on it. Most YouTube videos go like this. This YouTube video is literally going like this. And the bullet point could literally be a story. The bullet point could be a fact, a stat that you expand on, explain why it's true, explain why it's right, or just give advice around that one bullet point. If you need more than that, like if you want to script your videos, you can happily, like, please script your videos if that makes you more comfortable. But if you can actually talk off the top of your head to a decent level, I'm not perfect and I'm technically talking off the top of my head here. I've got bullet points, but that's literally it. The editing process will make this a lot easier to handle if you're not perfect in front of camera, because then you can cut out your mistakes or most of your mistakes. You can keep a few in there if you want, and then you can make your video look polished. And this is what 99% of YouTubers do, unless you're watching a super long lecture like from Nero Knowledge or from any other YouTuber that does like hours of lectures. It's more than likely one take. And the last thing you want to optimize for attracting the right viewer is just having different variations or different angles, or reframing that same idea. If you can reframe that same idea in multiple different ways, you will then be able to see which one is probably going to get attention the most, and then you can attack that one first. And then you go for the second one, and you don't attack them like one week you do this one and then repackage the same thing the next week. You wait a month, you wait 2 months, you wait 3 months, and then you go back for the same idea but repackaged, come out from a different angle to see if people receive the information differently, receive it better, get more views, etc. If there's one thing that's super important, you need to be able to learn to say the same thing 1,000 different ways. Super important if you want longevity in this content space, because a lot of people may get it the first time, but some people just won't get it. So the second time, other people might get it. The third time, other people might get it. And you're explaining the same idea, the same concept, just a different way. And of course, you might have multiple concepts that you need to explain, but you can explain multiple of those concepts in multiple different ways. And that's going to allow people to have the aha moment, or that's what I've been missing, or I never heard that before. And that's what's going to make you super valuable. So when they find you, they're going to want to watch more videos. And that actually goes on to point number 2 out of the 3-step system. Number 2 is actually nurturing. Creating content that's going to nurture the audience. Most people get YouTube confused. They think when someone watches a YouTube video, they're automatically being nurtured, because people perceive YouTube as being middle of funnel, but YouTube can actually be middle of funnel and top of funnel. So what we just spoke about was technically top of funnel, and now we have middle of funnel or middle bottom of funnel type of content. And essentially we want people to get to like us and get to trust us. That's literally what the nurturing process is. And the best way to make someone like and trust you is by increasing your bingeability. There's a few tactics you can use, like having YouTube playlists and doing storytelling and all sorts of stuff. But the best way to make someone like and trust you is by posting authentic content, which is content that makes you seem vulnerable. You're telling the truth, you're showing your failures, your scars, and you're showing your successes. And then you have authority content where you're showing them that you are the expert. You can do this in multiple different ways. You can do live streams, so people know that, you know, this is live, you're able to answer questions off the dome, you're actually useful. You could do client case studies, you could do client interviews, you could do client breakdowns, you could do multiple different things that basically show that you have proof that you are good at what you do, or you know what you're talking about. Another way you can nurture your audience, and this is what Nero does, it's super smart, I'm trying to get other people to do it too, is having an email list. It's super important. And the reason you need an email list is because people might watch your videos, they might binge a bunch of your videos, but they're not ready yet. But they might be ready for a free resource, and they take that free resource, they use it, they're like, this is super valuable, and then they become ready. Or they take the resource and they're ready in 2 months. And now that you have their contact information, you can literally send out an email every week, every month, that you're taking on more clients, and you will be at the top of their mind. You won't need to rely on the algorithm, because it literally goes to their Gmail or whatever email provider that they're using, and they will see the email 8 times, 9 times out of 10. Whether they click and open it is a whole different story. And the last thing I'm doing to nurture audiences better, I'm using a new software that's allowing me to track links. By tracking link clicks, I'm able to see which videos get more clicks in the description. That's going to tell me if the call to action is well placed, call to action is well said, if the video was just interesting enough to get more viewers and more of the right viewers. Because if people aren't clicking, typically you're not getting the right viewers, or they're not interested, or they never saw the call to action or heard the call to action, all of these different things. It allows me to see whether having multiple call to actions in the same video is good or bad. Whether it's 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, all of these different things, I'm able to have data, because if you don't have data, you can't track it. It's like, imagine if YouTube came with no YouTube studio and there's no analytics dashboard and you can't see where people dropped off. You will never be able to improve your content. Now, moving on to the last one, and I will say most people struggle with number 1 and number 2, and that's why they come to me for help. Again, if you are a business owner that wants to grow their brand and business using YouTube, there's going to be a link in the description to work with me. As I said, I've done this for Nero, Gavin, myself, Nia, Mahiz, a bunch of people people. So if that sounds like you, link in the description. Point number 3 is converting. Now, typically when people come to work with me, they're already converting to an extent. That's how they're able to afford my services in the first place, but they're converting to an extent, and what they really need is more traffic, and that traffic being nurtured. But the converting stage is super important, because if you don't convert people, then you'll never actually make money. And converting literally just means getting the sale, creating an environment where people want to pay you. And you can do this in numerous amount of ways. You can create an irresistible offer, which is a staple, which everyone needs to do. An easy way to do that is just reading Alex Hormozi's book. He pretty much outlines everything, and it's about 150 pages. But I guess some people may struggle to implement or see their blind spots. So this is where I could also come in and give them advice or give them help. And the second way is by having a landing page and not a website. A lot of people mistake having a landing page and a website for the same thing. A website takes you to multiple different locations, multiple things screaming at you. A landing page is literally just focused on one result. And if you're new to the space, you should know that landing pages convert better, is streamlined, and there's literally just one outcome. They're either buying now, they're either booking a call, or they're filling out an application form. Another way you can convert people is by building a waitlist. I know a lot of people that did this. I actually did this for my first cohort that I ran in 2025. I built a waitlist, and then I put them into an email sequence once the doors open, used urgency, scarcity to get them into a group program. Essentially, that's essentially all it is. I know a lot of people do this. It works super well. The most popular method to convert people is using sales calls. You can have a wait list and put them onto a sales call, or you can just get them from a landing page and put them onto a sales call. And that's you literally figuring out where they're currently at, where they want to go. Can you be the bridge? If you are, you give them the offer, you handle any objections, because people might have questions for you. You answer those questions, you convince them, and they join the program. Happy days. Another trick that you can use to help people convert more or convert better or show up to your sales calls or wait list or whatever it is, once they confirm that they're interested in buying whatever you have to offer. So that's by booking a call, filling out an application form, joining a waitlist. You can redirect them to a confirmation page video. So it's going to be a video that basically further proves that you are the guy that they should listen to. And that's by going through your testimonials, your social proof, your story. Make it short, 5 minutes, if that, so they literally understand you 100%. So that means if they haven't watched your YouTube videos for some reason, or they weren't paying attention, they literally get every sort of proof possible inside of that confirmation page video. Now that's some real sauce. Now, how do I actually help my clients? So there's a few things I actually do to help my clients. And one of the main things I'm going to start doing now, I handpick your editors and I handpick your thumbnail designers. A lot of people come to me and they start YouTube and they don't have a team or any system or anything. I literally put a system, a customized system for them. So they know what days they're going to record. They know what videos they're going to record, what ideas they have, what ideas I have, and they basically go out and do that. But when most business owners go wrong, they're not in the field of content creation. They're just here to market. So they don't really know how to edit their videos. Plus, it's also better if you just make someone that's good at editing put 100% of their attention into your videos rather than you putting 10%. So I get a team together for you so your YouTube can grow faster, quicker, sustainably, and that's what most people lack. Then I also help my clients actually manage those editors and the thumbnail designers so they're actually producing good quality content. And then me myself, I actually go through your YouTube channel studio. I make me manager or editor, and then I essentially go through your analytics to see how the video is performing, if anything needs changing, where are people dropping off, and I basically do the analysis for you. We can go through that on the one-to-one calls that we have every 2 weeks, or I just do a Loom video. It literally just depends on your circumstances and what you actually want. If you want to go through that on the call live, you want to save time for the call and go through something else, so I do it on Loom. Another thing that I do for my clients is I handpick ideas and topics for them every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks I come with like a batch of ideas, fresh, like you've just got fresh bread like that. That's nice. I come to you with fresh ideas and I'm like, hey, I think you should make this video, this video, this video. These are my favorites. Here's why. And here are the other videos. You might be like, okay, I like this. And you might just take the ideas that I said are my favorite and you go and create them. Or you say, I like the other videos though. I like this one and this one. And then we talk about why it's a good video or why I think you should do this video first. And you might even come with your ideas and we might have an overlap in ideas. And that's where the magic happens. If there's an overlap in ideas, then we know that okay, if I thought of it and you thought of it, clearly it's not just your bias that you think is a good video, because anything that you think of, you're probably going to be like, this shit is sick. Whereas if I thought of it and you thought of it, we know that, okay, maybe this is something that people actually want to watch. And then there's also tech support. So in between our calls, if you ever need help, you can literally send me a text and I'll reply. Also, before any of this actually happens, you fill out like a massive onboarding document, but it's essentially me getting to know you better so I can build out your personal brand identity, but then also knowing your ICP, so then I can merge the two and just think of creative ideas essentially, and also use data-backed ideas to come up with the ultimate handpicked content ideas. Because there's no point me just giving you random ideas. The whole point is making those ideas slightly unique to you, to the point where you're the best person to execute this idea because of your personal experiences, your stories, your failures, your successes, what you've been through, your culture. All of these different things make you up. So it's best if you're able to execute the idea that I'm giving to you to the best of your ability. And lastly, I help you structure the video on our one-to-one course. So we basically go through what the intro is going to be like, what the rest of the video is going to be like, where your call to actions are going to be placed. Essentially, what you could say is I am an external creative director that comes into your YouTube channel, that comes into your business to help your brand and business grow. That's essentially what I am. And now that you have the $1 Million Framework, you can go ahead and use it, or you can come to me, link in the description, where I can help you use it to the best of your abilities. And that's pretty much it. But if you made it this far, I'm going to link you to another video that I think you should watch. Click this one right here, or it might be here, whichever one, and check that out.